So this is just going to be about my background, a little bit more information about my background. I'm not interested in hiding anything about that, really, because this is what happened. It's the truth. It's what happened. Of course, it's pretty much impossible to prove, and I don't really see of any way of actually being able to prove it one way or the other, unless things like this, unless it personally happens to you or you've seen it personally happen to somebody that is close to you in your life that you know personally. uh, you just have to take my word for it. And it's not really about making anyone believe or not believe, because I don't give a shit if someone believes me or not. I already know what's real. I already know what's true. And I know what isn't real and I know what isn't true. And I know the difference because I've lived it for a long time. So, with that out of the way, um, when I was a child, against my will, I was forced to be in deep black projects, beyond deep black projects, and non human creatures are involved directly with governments and with other human organizations. And the thing that I was involved in was uh, very sick and very satanic. And it's not alien. Alien is fake. It's actually demonic. It's satanic. It's from the devil. It's Luciferian. And it is anti-Christ and it's anti-Jesus Christ. Okay? That's basically what it is. And so most people involved in UFOlogy, New Age, they're too ignorant and their hearts are too closed off and their souls are too dumbed down to understand that the devil runs New Age, and that New Age is just the modern form of satanic Luciferianism. It's just the modern form of it. It's just like the friendly, nice form of it. So unless God, unless the literal Lord Jesus Christ gives the person a supernatural understanding to come to terms and understand that, they will automatically reject and they will say that it is lies. Some things are too hard for a regular person of their own power, of their own will, of their own willpower to come to terms with and accept. Some things are so difficult and so torturous and so horrible that only the almighty supernatural power of literal God, Jesus Christ, with the person, given the person that strength to bear it, they will not be able to bear the truth about the reality of the world in which they live in. And that's a fact. Of course, it can only be proven on a case-by-case basis. You can't use a scientific method and say, okay, let's do a test, and the scientific method fails when it comes to certain proofs that are required. The scientific method is not a foolproof method. It is a fallible idea that is not perfect. A scientific method is an imperfect concept. Therefore, it fails. The only thing that doesn't fail is God himself, because he is perfect in every way. God is higher than the scientific method and things like that. So being involved with beyond deep black projects, okay, with a non-human creatures, satanic, demonic, evil creatures that people call aliens. Are not aliens, okay? They're just devils. Okay, they're satanic in nature. And they love hurting people, especially kids. And they love hurting babies. Like the more innocent the person is, the more they love hurting that person. So the most innocent, of course, are little kids and like little babies. and just people that are just have that innocence about them, and they're good people. And of course, if a person is too good, okay, if a person is too good, okay, I was in the section of whatever this is where they kidnap kids into this. It's not like, some of the kids are kidnapped into it, and some of the kids are born into it. You're either kidnapped into it or you're born into it. It's like, it's not, you know, it's not something where you will on purpose volunteer for. Basically, it's not something that you just know everything that's going on and say, oh yeah, I want to be in that. No, it's not like that whatsoever at all. And so I'm not from this world. I'm not from this time. So basically, this happened 77 years ago in another time. Currently, my body's age is 31 years old, but I'm not actually 31. I'm around 81 years old in aggregate. It is not possible at this point in time to tell you my exact age, because I wasn't able to keep exact track of years. So everything is going to be approximated in terms of time. And so in my actual age is 81 years old. So my body's age is 31 years old. 77 years ago, in another time, in another world, okay, in another place, in another dimension, I was kidnapped by non-human creatures because of several reasons. One, God allowed it to happen. I don't know why. You got to ask him. He hasn't told me. So besides God allowing it to happen, the reason I was kidnapped by these creatures was my memories of heaven and what it was. So 77 years ago, when I was 4 years old, it was 1992 in another time, in another timeline, in another dimension. Okay? So in this timeline, okay, 1992, 77 years ago, not in this time, a different time, in a different world, in a different place. I was 4 years old. It was 1992, and I was kidnapped by satanic elements of, the satanic element being non-human, okay, in the shape of gray aliens, okay. So people have their own opinions about gray aliens. They say some are good, some are bad. They're not all bad. There's some of them that are good. They're just alien. They come from a different galaxy or whatever. That's all fake. They don't come from a different galaxy. Okay. Gray aliens exist because Lucifer, the devil, Satan, fell from heaven, fell from God's grace. Lucifer, being made by Jesus Christ, being God, fell into this world and manipulated and did all these things genetically with people and with animals and different things, and created a quote-unquote family of his own that he wanted. He wanted his own family that he can rule over and be king of everything. God said no to the devil with him being able to do that, and so the devil understands this. And so now all the devil wants to do is make sure to kill every single man, woman, and child while escaping from God's wrath into another timeline that is presently going on right now. However, back in 2015, 2016, something happened that, and this something that happened was God himself did it. And God said that the time travel technology and the dimension hopping, dimension traveling technologies will no longer work fully 100%. There's going to be errors introduced into the technology, and so it's going to become inaccurate, and it's going to become messed up, and it's not going to work the way it used to work. And the reason that God said that was because the end of the world is coming, and meaning the end of all evil things is coming, and God is wrapping up the wickedness in this world, and basically everything that good people want is going to happen. But before that happens, the one world government, new world order, mark of the beast system, where you have to have this stuff put into your body in order to be hooked up into their monetary system to buy and sell things, has to come out first. And only after that happens, then the end is actually really going to come. But that hasn't happened yet. And other things have to happen before this mark of the beast system comes out. Okay. One of the things that have to happen is people have to get more acclimated to technology, meaning the quote unquote third world has to stop being so third world, and the third world and the first world have to meet technological parity across this plane, okay? Across this world, okay? Across the earth, meaning there can't be this technological gap of society from really poor countries and really rich countries, okay? The technology has to be distributed in a way where it's more even. So a precursor to this already is computers. You know, pretty much computers are in every country. Phones, pretty much phones are in every country. Television, pretty much television is in every country. And so power plants, electricity. So all of these things are now pretty much almost in every country. But now it has to be, the level of the development has to go up a little bit. And there's two ways of increasing the level of development. Okay, there's the positive way of increasing it, and then there's the negative way of increasing it. Okay, I'll tell you the positive way. The positive way is investing in the societies of whatever nation or country in order to increase their development level, of the technology development level. That's positive. Okay, so the negative way is going to where the first world countries are and basically bombing the shit out of the first world countries and destroying the first world countries' society as much as possible in order to bring down the level of the technology of first world nations. So that's the negative way. So guess which way is going to happen, right? So once that happens, and then the mark of the beast system comes out, people get injected with the there's various things that people say what it is. Some people say it's a microchip. Some people say it's nanotechnology. Some people say it's like a vaccine. Okay. It doesn't matter the form it takes. Okay. But it is going to be in specific places in your body, and it's going to basically change your body into something else. And anyone that takes the mark of the beast, their bodies will no longer be human, and they will fundamentally change in a way that they can't change back to being a normal human being anymore. So the thing that is going to happen is it's going to, at the DNA level, okay, the mark of the beast is a satanic, technological, genetic manipulation system that is going to allow you to spiritually directly connect to fallen angels and evil spirits. Okay. Fallen angels and evil spirits being the principality, the evil principalities and powers in the air, that they literally float in the air and they fly through the air. Okay. And also they literally go through electricity in terms of wiring. Fallen angels and evil spirits can travel through cables and power lines and things like that. Okay. That is also possible for them to do. Remember, fallen angels and evil spirits are supernatural in nature. They do not have purely a physical form. their bodies are made out of spiritual substance and spiritual material, that they can manipulate and change the very structure of their body in order to travel using various mediums, including through the air and including through electronic equipment, through whatever. Okay. So basically, 77 years ago, I was in an alternate timeline. Okay. It was 1992. And I was kidnapped. Okay. I just want to recap it again. I was kidnapped. Against my will. I did not ask for this. I didn't ask for this at all. I was kidnapped. Number one, God allowed it to happen. I don't know why. Ask him. Number two, I had memories of actually literally being in heaven. And the devils use technologies to, great alien creature devils use technologies to basically look through my memories of heaven. So that was the second one. They wanted some information. And the third reason was because of the supernatural, whatever, gift of power, ability, blah, 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 that I was born with, that God made me to have. I didn't ask for them. God just gave it to me. And so basically, I was made to be a soldier in the satanic system. Okay, the satanic military system that is set up to control and rule over the world for the purpose of destruction of every man, woman, and child. That is the actual point of it. It is to destroy everyone and everything in it. Completely lay waste to the creation that God made by first perverting it, corrupting it from within, having it be degenerated, rotting from inside, and then finally killing it dead, destroying it, and having it enter into complete total chaos and then ultimate destruction. That is the point of the satanic military. Okay? It is not to build anything. It is only to destroy completely, utterly. Okay? That is what it is. And so, I was trained for many years to do supernatural things, use my abilities and powers, and they call it, quote unquote, super soldier, whatever. Now, we didn't refer to ourselves as super soldiers or anything else. The specific branch or section or division or whatever you want to call it that I was involved in the satanic military, the real military that actually runs this world. Okay, the actual one world military. The branch I was in is called the Assassin Corps. And basically the Assassin Corps is kind of like the military police in a way. The Assassin Corps is responsible for policing the satanic military in general. Okay, so it's a very big organization. Okay, it's a worldwide organization, reporting directly to whatever fallen angel is in charge. Okay, obviously Lucifer the devil is ultimately in charge, but Lucifer the devil, that particular fallen angel, the head fallen angel that is wicked, the devil, delegates to his generals. His generals are other fallen angels, okay? Other archangels. Archangels being the ones that have the most powers. Okay, so there's different levels of angels, and each level of angel has more power than the next one. Archangels are the most powerful type of angels that Jesus Christ, God, created. So, there is a general that's in charge of the Assassin Corps, the general being the fallen angel. Whatever his name is, okay? I don't give a shit about what his name is. I don't fucking care. Not important. So, this, this general then reports, obviously, to Lucifer the devil. And then the general is responsible for delegating. Okay, this fallen angel is responsible for delegating to the flesh and blood people what is what. Okay, so it's not where like a human, okay, a flesh and blood man and woman, a man or a woman is in charge. This is fake. Men and women are not in charge of this whole thing here. Are you understanding me? What is in charge are non-human, okay, non-flesh and blood, meaning you can't cut them, they don't bleed, okay? It doesn't work like that. What's in charge here is fallen angels, devils, okay? So this general then delegates hybrids, okay? The way that it's set up is you have fallen angels at the top, then you have hybrid children, the children of the fallen angels right underneath. And then right underneath the hybrids, then you have flesh and blood people. Okay, so flesh and blood people are not at the top of this. Hybrid abominations, hybrids, you can cut them and they bleed. Okay. You can kill a hybrid. But if you kill a hybrid, all that's going to happen is the hybrid's body is going to die, but then the spirit of the hybrid is going to be right where you killed them. And then the spirit is going to come after you. So you kill a hybrid dead, or the hybrid dies of old age, and then it just turns into an evil spirit, and it's just going to be roaming around as an evil spirit. Okay. Then after hybrids die, okay, and they turn into evil spirits, they have their own hierarchy. So there's a separate hierarchy for hybrids that are living, and there's a separate hierarchy for hybrids that have died, and they're only spirits. And there is a kind of, I don't know if enmity kind of, but not really. There's a kind of back and forth a little bit. And so basically, there's another section of the satanic military that's responsible for creating bodies for the dead the hybrids that have died, so that they can come back in a physical body again. Okay. Hybrids that have died and turned into evil spirits are responsible for hauntings. They haunt people's houses. And they are responsible for demon possessing people. They go inside of people's bodies and they can control people. Okay, so these are hybrid spirits. Okay, meaning they were once alive in a body. They were born using fallen angel genetic manipulation and whatnot. And then they die, but they want to be in a body again, because God says that these hybrids never should have even been made, and because they have been made, and that the only reason that they were made was to basically disrespect God and to curse at God. Hybrids, evil spirit hybrids fall under a very special curse that is very bad for them. So after a hybrid, okay, hybrids are what people call aliens. Okay, they're flesh. You can kill them. They bleed. You can cut them. Okay, so these are the flesh aliens. They're actually just hybrid devils. So hybrids, when hybrids die, okay, and their spirits are cursed to not to just be there wherever at the place of where they died, and they just roam around. They get hungrier and hungrier, but it is not a physical hunger. It is a flesh, and it's not like a flesh hunger, but it is a spiritual hunger, and the spiritual hunger is a hunger that is never satisfied. So imagine being like so hungry, it's like you feel like you're gonna die because you're so hungry. And that's all you can focus on, because like you're so hungry, you haven't eaten in so long, and it's like you're just like starving to death. Okay? But imagine being like that 24/7 and thirsty. So you're so hungry, you're so thirsty, it feels like you're just gonna die from thirst, and you're just gonna die from you feel like you're gonna die from not eating food. But imagine that feeling never going away, and imagine not being able to die from that feeling, but you always have it. Okay? And imagine the only way you can get a little bit of tiny rest. Okay? The only way you can get a little bit of tiny rest, it's not even enough to really satisfy you. It just makes it slightly better, like 1% better, is you have to literally inhabit another living thing's body. Okay? Whether it's an animal, a bird, a bear, a dog, a cat, a fish, or another, you have to inhabit another living body, or inhabit a flesh and blood man or woman or child, human being, right? So those are flesh devils. Okay. Then you have the fallen angels. They are not flesh. Okay. They do not have that hunger. Okay. And you can't cut them. They don't have blood in their bodies because their bodies are not flesh. Okay. Their bodies are spirit in nature. And when you have a body that is spirit in nature, you can do certain things. But you require energy. Okay. So fallen angels. Okay. So basically the way it used to work is this. Okay. You just had angels. There was no fallen angels yet. The way that angels were able to have energy to do things such as talk, move, walk, fly through the air, float, teleport, have a lot of strength, whatever, sing, dance, whatever they do. Okay. So the way that an angel was able to do that was the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ, God, the Father in heaven, his spirit inhabited the spirit of the angel's body and was the power generator generating infinite energy for the angel, the heavenly angel, to function. When the fallen angels decided to go insane and go against God for no reason, that was good anyway, because they're just crazy. So when the fallen angels decided to go crazy and go against God in a vain attempt at stupidity and just trying to overthrow God's kingdom and become God themselves. So after this happened, the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ, the Father in heaven, his spirit, departed away from the fallen angel's spiritual body and was no longer giving the fallen angel energy anymore. So now they were running out of energy. Okay? They need energy to function. Why? Because fallen angels are not God. Meaning they have limits. They are created. And they are imperfect. They are not perfect. They are not all knowing. They are not all seeing. They are not all powerful. And fallen angels are fallible. Okay, Lucifer is a fallible, imperfect creature, not God. Lucifer is not God. The devil, fallen angels are not gods. Okay, they can be tricked, and in fact, they have been tricked many times by God. Why? Because God will not be mocked, and God is smarter, stronger, and better than every fallen angel put together, and can instantly wipe out any fallen angel, all of the fallen angels, all at once, instantly, because God is all powerful, okay, and all knowing. And so fallen angels are not. So fallen angels require a certain type of quote unquote food, okay, but it's not literal food. It is like energy, okay, and they need to get energy from people. People is where the energy for the fallen angels come from. Okay? And they get energy from people sinning and doing bad things. The way it works is the worse the sin is, the more binding the contractual agreement for the fallen angel to come upon that person and suck the energy out of the person. Okay. However, fallen angels, because they're lazy, okay, because they're not God. God is never lazy. Fallen angels are very lazy. Okay, they don't like to work. So because fallen angels are very lazy, fallen angels have set up their hybrid, their dead hybrid evil spiritual sons and daughters. Okay, meaning the evil spirits. These are the hybrid flesh and blood creatures that died. So fallen angels have set up their evil spirits to create these spiritual, I don't know what you call them, like spiritual buckets or whatever. Okay, let's just use that. So basically there's these giant spiritual buckets set up all across the world and in different places, okay, where as humanity sins, okay, an evil spirit goes and hooks up this energy line to siphon off the energy that is being that the person has agreed to give to the devil by sinning. Every time a person does a big sin, okay, not all sins do this, because not all sins are worth the energy to the devil to collect. It has to be a big enough sin. So a person does a big enough sin, an evil spiritual being goes and hooks up to the person and siphons off the energy. And so now you have these giant spiritual buckets, okay, where energy has been siphoned off, and it's like a collection, okay, and it's a spiritual energy plant, okay. It's like almost like a literal floating building, okay. It's like almost like that, okay. And how it works is that it's like the collective sins of mankind go and they collect into these buildings, okay, and then the fallen angels will then hook themselves up and then get the energy from that. So whenever they're running low, then they just go to the nearest energy power plant and they just hook themselves up to it, and then they get the juice out of it like that, and they suck it in. And then now the fallen angel can do things now. So every once in a while, okay, depending on how active that particular fallen angel is, he has to take a break and he has to go to the spiritual energy collecting power plant bucket thing that is invisibly floating somewhere or wherever it is, whether it's invisibly floating in the sky or is it invisibly floating underneath the ground or in the ocean. Wherever they have it invisibly floating at, in a spiritual plane that is directly connected to this earth, okay, directly connected to this reality, okay, but in the spiritual section of it, where you can't fucking see it or like go to it, okay, and then the fallen angels go and they collect that, okay. So that is basically how the fallen angels get their energy. Now, obviously the fallen angels, the more higher up you are, the more dibs you have on the energy first. And if you're not high enough, then you have to wait your turn. And that's the way it works. Okay? That's the way it works. And so even though so think of how stupid, hold on a minute. You see the problem here that fallen angels have, and I'm sure they're smart enough to understand this, and it drives them insane, and they hate it, and they're trying to come up with a different way. So fallen angels are trying to come up with a different energy source because they want to kill all the people. So right now, all of their energy source is coming from people sinning, coming into a contractual agreement with the devil, and then having an evil spirit siphon the energy off into these giant collecting bucket things. And that's where it's like the spiritual power plant. Okay, so right now, fallen angels are getting their energy from that, right? Well, if fallen angels kill every single person, where are they going to get their energy from? See, it doesn't make sense anymore, see? And so this is driving fallen angels insane because they are they have not come up with any other alternative for getting energy that is viable. Sure, they might have some alternatives or whatever, but it's not enough. Okay? It's not enough. Why? Because there's a lot of fallen angels that exist. Some of them obviously have gone into hell early. Okay? These are the ones that are dumber, and they didn't understand their limits of what they were supposed to do. Okay? Under the certain spiritual laws. So some fallen angels are so stupid and they're so dumb that they end up going into hell early because of how dumb they are. Okay. So besides that, okay, so let's put those ones to the side. Okay. So then the fallen angels that are still in this plane, in this realm, okay, in this world, in this reality, okay, are going insane trying to find another energy source to power themselves up. Okay. Now, they haven't been able to. So what is the point of the what is another point of the mark of the beast system? Okay. The other point of the mark of the beast system was to try and get that infinite energy source. Okay. Try and get that infinite energy source. They wanted to try and use that to try and get that infinite energy source somehow. Now, obviously, this is going to fail. It's not going to work. However, the fallen angels are so stupid and dumb and prideful and arrogant against God that God himself has literally blinded their own minds. Okay, this is the curse of God. God has placed a curse upon the minds of every single fallen angel that makes the fallen angels not be able to fully understand, okay, the cause and then the future effect of their own decisions. And God's curse on the fallen angels' minds makes it be that the certain things that the fallen angel plans, the fallen angel can't understand and they just can't understand because their mind is under a curse that forces them to never be able to understand it. And this is God doing it to them. Nobody else but God is doing it to them. And so the fallen angels can't understand that it's not going to work. Okay? They don't understand it. They do not understand this. Okay? They don't understand it. And not because they don't want to understand it, it's because God is there cursing them not being able to understand it. Okay? And so this type of information, okay, so basically fallen angels, okay, when a person is kidnapped into this satanic military, okay, let's say they weren't born into it. Let's say they were kidnapped into it. Okay, fallen angels specifically target flesh and blood people that have certain spiritual, supernatural gifts that they want to use into their army. Okay? They want to use certain people into the satanic military to better bring about their agenda. That's what they understand. Fallen angels understand that certain people that God has to be born in the world, that God creates and has them be born into this world, the fallen angels understand that God creates certain people with certain gifts, supernatural gifts, okay? So Bible calls it gifts of the Spirit. The Bible gives certain examples. Obviously, there's more gifts than what the Bible says. There's things that exist that the Bible doesn't talk about, but it still exists. And one of those things are gifts that God has people be born with in this world. Okay? So basically, you know, I was put into the Assassin Corps area. Okay? So the Assassin Corps area is the military police. They are responsible for enforcing the rules and regulations of Satan on the organization. So, the rules and regulation of Satan, Lucifer the devil, is very, very, very specific, and it's very, very, very strict. And if you're in it, you're not allowed to just go against it and have nothing happen to you. Okay. So this is the policing arm. So it's like the military police. Okay. Because who is going to police it? They have to police themselves. But how are they going to police themselves? Because there has to be a separate section of it whose job is to police it. Okay? It's not just where everyone is just doing their own thing, whatever, whatever. Oh, we're all just worshiping the devil. No. It's everyone has a specific job. Their job matches whatever their skill is. And then they go in it, and then they do it, and they live it, and that's their life. That's how it works. Okay. So that's part of what the Assassin Corps does. That's not the only thing that the Assassin Corps does, but that's like a big part of it. So the Assassin Corps exists to enforce the satanic law on whatever it is. Okay. To enforce satanic law. It is the enforcement arm. It is the enforcement arm of the devils. Okay. So who is part of the Assassin Corps? Well, you have the head fallen angel general. Obviously, he's part of it. Then you have the hybrid abomination, flesh, evil, spiritual, non-human beings that have genetically modified, manipulated DNA, and they are not human. They are not men and women, but they do have flesh to them, meaning they bleed. They have blood inside their bodies. Okay. And then you have regular people, flesh and blood people. So the Assassin Corps is made up of those three types of things, whether it's a person, a hybrid, a flesh and blood hybrid, or a non-flesh and blood fallen angel devil. So I was in the Assassin Corps area for many years. That was basically what I was in. Okay, so I was trained to be a soldier in it. Okay? I was trained to be a soldier in it, and it was very terrible. I'm going to tell you right now, it is extremely bad. You do not want to be in this. It is not cool. It is not fun. It is not exciting. It is not happy. It is not nothing like that. It is the most horriblest and it's the most terriblest thing ever. And it doesn't matter if you get to play with all of the goodies that I call the advanced technology, which I used every single day. It doesn't matter if you get to fly around in spaceships, which I flew around in spaceships for a long time. It doesn't matter if you get to go to other worlds and see what another world looks like when, all of this, it's not worth it. So basically, we were involved in policing and enforcing a lot. A lot of it was enforcement. Most of it was enforcement. Okay, making the things that the fallen angels want come to pass. Okay, so each section of the this hierarchy of Satan, this demonic, satanic, Luciferian, anti-Christ, anti-Jesus, anti-Father in heaven, anti-goodness thing that is trying to be running things and ruling over everything. Each section has its own priorities, and each section has its own responsibility. Okay, and each section is governed in a specific way. And each section has a fallen angel in charge of it. Okay, so these are the generals. Okay, I do not know how many generals the devil has delegating things. Okay, but the devil can only be in one place at one time because he's not God. He is a singular entity that can only be in one place at one time only. Of course, the devil sends people and things and whatnot to represent him. Okay, but the devil can only be in one place. So a lot of the times, witches, okay, will not understand that they're not literally talking to the devil. They're just talking to one of the emissaries of the devil. And so an emissary of the devil will call himself Satan, of course, they're allowed to call themselves Satan because they're representing them. So another thing that a lot of witches don't understand that are really trying to rise up in the ranks is they don't understand that they'll never be able to rise up. Ever. You have to be born into it. Okay? You have to be born into it to really rise up to the highest. And then the second highest you can go is if you're kidnapped into it, then you can rise up to the second highest in terms of the human part. Okay? You rise up at the highest if you're born into it. The second highest you can go up is if you're kidnapped into it. Okay? But if you just think that you as a witch can just, I'm going to really try my best to worship the devil and then I'll become like a grand dame of the devil, that's foolish and stupid because you'll never become that. The only way to become a grand dame of the devil is you have to be born in one of the satanic royal families of fake royalty, okay, and have that ancestry there in your blood, and only then will you be able to become that. And so there's all these covens all over the place. They don't understand that they're the lowest of the low. 99% of covens are really low level book that it's like doesn't even matter. They don't even understand. These witches, they don't even understand that they're low level. They're very low level. 99%. But they think that they're high up. They think that they're high up in it, but they're not. They're very low level. You know who's higher up than 99% of these covens? Like mafia people are higher up than them. That's a fact. You know, that's a fact. They will never admit it, but it's true. And so the hierarchy is really hilarious to me in terms of just how stupid it is. Because the devil confuses his followers and makes his followers to be stupid. And he does this on purpose in order to better control the person. Okay? The more dumb a person is, the easier it is for the devil to trick that person, control that person, and make that person do what the devil wants that person to do. So the devil keeps all of his followers in this perpetual state of rat race and jockeying for higher and higher position in this hierarchy as if they can reach it, number one, which they can't. 99%, 99.99999% cannot reach any high level at all. So he has like the majority of over 99% of his followers working so hard to reach a position that they will never be able to reach it. They will never be able to reach it because they weren't born into it. And so they do not have the satanic royal bloodline in them to be any high up. But it doesn't stop any of the dumb coven members and any of these dumb little witches it doesn't stop them from still trying to go up, even though they can't go up. And so what is keeping these witches and these coven people from understanding that they're just these low-level pawns in the game that can't really, that the most that they'll ever be able to get is maybe a low-level evil spirit to tell them some things and give them some goodies every once in a while. They don't even understand that they'll never be able to get a fallen angel to give them anything. And if they do get a fallen angel to give them something, then it's probably going to be only once in their life ever. And it's only going to be, they'll get it, and then the fallen angel will come and kill them maybe in a year's time or in 6 months' time. Like, they don't understand that. These low-level witches don't understand that if a fallen angel comes and gives them something, that means that they're about to die. Like, they don't, like, these witches are so stupid. They don't understand anything. They don't understand the system. They're in it. They're in it, but they don't even understand how it works. Okay? So I understand how it works. Okay? So I was in a different section that was higher up than that. Okay? And it doesn't have anything to do with bragging or whatever the fuck. This is just fact. Okay? The Assassin Corps is much higher up than these witches. It's true. Okay? And So you know more, you see more, you hear more things, okay? And you experience more things. And you go to more places. And you have more responsibility. And you're in charge of more people. And all of these things. Okay? For example, these witches in these covens, they don't have access to all the technology that I had, for example. They didn't have access to all the training that I had, for example. They didn't have access to certain things where they could see things into the future, for example. I did. They didn't. All these witches are good for, and all these coven, and 99% of all these covens that all these witches go in the middle of the night, all they're good for is to basically be these low-level people that every once in a while they'll astral project, or they'll summon some low-level evil spirit, and then they'll send them off to whatever person that is trying to believe in God in their neighborhood. Like, that's 99% of what these coven members... Oh, and then every once in a while they have their orgies and their bullshit, and they get to dress up in their little Halloween costumes, and they get to feel special, and they get to feel like good about themselves and prideful by dressing up in their garbage black hooded robe bullshit Halloween costumes that they like to dress up in all the time. Very cliche. And so those are the witches, okay? So in terms of the devil, in terms of fallen angels, in terms of evil spirits, in terms of all this whole thing, I have nothing but disrespect for them. I have nothing but disdain for them. They don't deserve your fear. They only deserve to be mocked all day long, and God himself mocks them every single day. And they don't deserve anything fear from you, okay? Do not fear the devil. Do not fear witches. Do not fear spells. Do not fear curses that they think they can throw at people, okay? Do not fear them. And the only way of not being able to fear them, okay, is by going to God in repentance and praying and talking to God, and God covers you with his protective Holy Spirit, and God has you in the palm of his hand and protects you, and he looks out for you and everything else like that. And so if you're coming at it with that, with love in your heart towards God, then even if some witch or whatever throws a spell at you or curse at you, then it's not going to land. And even if it does land, it's not going to do anything to you. So it doesn't matter one way or the other. That's how it works. Okay? That's how it works. The other thing that witches try to do is they try to get people in their neighborhoods to sin by having evil spirits get attracted to the local area to increase sin in the local area, so that the other evil spirits can then go and suck the energy off, so that they can go into the power plant that is the spiritual power plant that's floating wherever it is. So that's the other thing. That's the other thing that witches are good for, quote unquote, that the devil uses the witches for. So this is very low level work. Okay, this is very low level work. This is not work that anyone that's high level is going to do. Okay, I'll give you an example of high level work. High level work is you're a mind controlled programmer. Your job is to create mind control slaves and make people have dissociation and do mental programming of people to create these programming people. Okay, so that's a high level job. Okay, another high level job is you're a seer of the future. Okay, so your job is to look into the future and say what's going to happen. Okay, and not because the devil is there telling you, but because you have the gift to see. Remember, God gives gifts without repentance. Okay, so if God gives you a gift of prophecy where you can really see things that are going to happen for real, he's not just going to take it away from you because you happen to be using it for bad things. You happen to be using that gift to help the devil. He gives his gift without repentance. He makes you have the gift. You have the gift. That's it. That's a high level job. Okay. There's all these jobs. Okay. So basically, the way everything works is you're born into it, you're kidnapped into it. Okay. You have a supernatural gift from God that the fallen angels do not have. And then you are mind controlled, broken down into multiple personality, and you used as a slave to harness your gifts. Okay. And you just live that. You live in it. And the only way to get out of it is because God is there to get you out of it, or else you're not going to get out of it. That's it. There's no way of getting out unless God helps you to get out. If God's not helping you to get out, you're not going to get out. If God doesn't help you to get out, you don't get out. That's how it is. Because the way it's set up, it's not possible to get out by yourself. You need some kind of intervention, supernaturally speaking. God, literally Jesus, needs to supernaturally intervene to have you escape this, or else you don't escape it. You don't escape it if God isn't there. So I've seen a lot of things. I've been to a lot of different worlds. I've used a lot of different technology that is very advanced. I've been on spaceships. I've worn very advanced armor. I've used very advanced weapons. I've used very advanced computers. I've seen them. I've used them. All this stuff. I remember it. Plain as day, very, very, very crystal clear. And it's all satanic. Okay, it's all coming from the devil. Okay, it's all coming from the devil. All of it. All of it, all of it, all of this. Okay? That's why there is a concerted effort. There is a super concentrated effort to put down Jesus, put down everything that has to do about heaven, and to put down every single thing that has to do about the Father in heaven, and to put down every single thing that has to do about the Holy Spirit, and to put down everything that has to do about all things like that. The reason, okay, is because that's God, okay? And the fallen angels are directly opposed to God. That is what this is about, okay? That's what it's always been about that. You see, it's always been about that. It's always the same thing. From before you were born, before your parents were born, their parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great, however long, okay? That's how it's been like, okay? And the devil tries to do everything to not have you realize it, okay? The devil tries to distract you, says, oh, it's the Jesuits over there, it's the Vatican over here, it's just the government over there, it's the banks, it's the banksters, it's the mob, it's the mafia, it's these gangsters over here, or it's this particular whatever over here, or it's this particular whatever over there. And it's like, it's actually just the devil, okay? It's above flesh and blood humans, okay? It is actually fallen angels. That's what it actually is. It's not some human. It is non-flesh and blood men and women. It is fallen angels. They are the ones that are principally responsible for everything. It is the fallen angels that tell the flesh and blood men and women what to do. These flesh and blood men and women are mind-controlled, demon-possessed slaves in their mind and in their hearts to Satan. Okay? Multiple personality, the works. Then they carry out their orders, they carry out their missions. They switch into whatever personality it is, and they carry out their assignment. Okay? So if a person in one of these secret societies or whatever is doing something, It is because a fallen angel told the head of that secret society what to do, and then the head of that secret society went and told whatever lesser member what to do. And then the fallen angel either rewards the head of that secret society or punishes the head of that secret society. And if the head of the secret society fails too much, or maybe the fallen angel just had a bad day that day, the fallen angel has direct allowance from Satan to kill whoever it is and to replace the fucking guy. Humans, okay, flesh and blood people are replaceable. Okay? Why? Because there's always some fucking idiot that thinks that they can just rule the fucking world like a fucking fool. That's why. Fallen angels instead are not replaceable. They are limited in their numbers, and until, it's released, until the fallen angels that were imprisoned in hell are released at the end of the world, fallen angels' numbers keep on going down. They don't go up. The evil spirits' numbers go up, though, because they're constantly trying to birth these things. Okay? So, this is what's going on. Okay? This is literally what's going on. The only way to know it is either because you lived it or God tells you. Either because you've literally seen it with your eyes or God literally freaking tells you. Okay? Or you listen to someone that has first-hand experience, or you listen to someone that God told. That's it. There's no other way of knowing this. It's impossible. You can't know this unless one of those three things happens so that you know it. That's it.